I want to move to Austin and pursue my YouTube dreams. And they let me. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I have to pay for everything. And that hit me like a truck. Okay. Today, it's gonna be me, it's gonna be Chet, and we are reacting to a video from the one, the only, the homie, Where's Dav, landing your first real job. Now, my first real job, if y'all know or didn't know, was Panera, and it was interesting, for sure. I never told the Panera story times on my channel, but you know what? I think it's time I tell the Panera story times. That might be what I come back with on YouTube, because I haven't dropped the animation in a while.
Landing your first job out of school is somehow the most exciting yet terrifying thing that you will ever experience in your life.
Agreed.
When I was nearing the final months before I graduated college, I remember being in lectures with my laptop out trying to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do once I finish.
Right.
Like, I'm talking mid-lecture, professor still yapping, and here I am scrolling through Reddit talking about potential career paths to choose. My boys notice I haven't spoken the last 25 minutes. They're like, yo, bro, what the fuck got you so focused over there? I'm like, real life got me.
Yeah, life, bills, taxes, insurance, car notes, rents, yeah, utilities, yeah. Bro, all of those will make you quiet as hell, bro, no cap.
Me focused. I gotta figure this shit out.
No
and
cap.
so there I am, still scrolling endlessly, and the panic starts to settle in because I realize for the first time, I might be cooked.
Right.
Growing up, you follow a structure. You start in elementary school, graduate, and then you move on to high school. Ninth grade, they tell you these 4 years are sure going to fly you by. Then before you know it, you're in college. Fast forward just a few more years, and now you're in the real world. And I ain't gonna lie, for the first few weeks to months, it's hella liberating. It's like, damn, I can do whatever the fuck I want. But very quickly, it turns to, damn, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Nonetheless, eventually,
It does suck. I'm not gonna lie, for me, I was genuinely just thrusted into adulthood. Not like by my parents or anything. My parents actually love me, so they'll let me stay home. No offense to anybody. But like, they were like, yo, you can stay here as long as you want. But I was like, I want to move to Austin and pursue my YouTube dreams. And they let me. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I have to pay for everything. And that hit me like a truck. Okay, it hit me like a truck. I always recommend to anybody, whenever you feel ready to move out, whenever you're ready, you're like, okay, this is your year, I'm gonna move out, you saved up, wait one more year. And nobody ever listens to that advice. Nobody literally ever listens to that advice. But if you did, you'll be grateful for it, because as soon as you realize you're ready to move out, you are genuinely going to be ready to move out a year later, because the time frame that you're feeling like you're ready, you're forgetting just miscellaneous things, the smallest of things, minute things, relationships, tying up loose ends where you're at, all that stuff, it adds up. No cap.
you start your job search because you don't want the education you just spent years on going to waste. When you run into your first problem, you don't have any experience. This kind of shit never made sense because they tell you school will help you land a job, yet companies are looking for with 8 years experience. 8 years ago, I think I was in what, 6th grade? But some miraculous way you end up bullshitting your way over to your first real job, and when you finally do, fuck. This shit gets dreadful so quick. The first thing I realize is how much older everyone is. See, when you're at school or working your little part-time job or whatever, everyone is relatively at the same point in life and the same age. Once you get out there, you're working with grown-ass people, and I'm talking grown. Once the people at my job found out how young I was, it became the topic of the discussion, every discussion. Like, real shit. No conversation goes without the mentioning of my age. I remember once we were in a meeting, and the president of the company goes, what year were you born in again? 2003. And the look on his face, you would have thought I murdered his fucking dog. That stood up, took his glasses off, and took a trip down memory lane. Combo some 2003. Fuck. We won nationals in 2003. Yeah, I was just born. Wow. Like, bro, I get it. Fuck. Or the one time we went out for sushi and my boss saw a sign on the window saying kids eat for free. Followed it up with, look, you can eat for free. Oh, never mind. We have to come back at 3.
That's hilarious. I'm not going to lie. That's a good dad joke. I like that. Girl, I like that out of your manager. That's my type of joke. I'm sorry. I like those.
PM, like, okay. Or even this one time we went out to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and the waiter said to us, just so we could clarify, we have 5 adults at the table, right? And my boss said, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, Laza.
Actually, I don't know. While looking at me the entire time. And don't even get me started on the unsolicited advice. There's a department next to me where only women work, and 3 of the ladies in there miraculously have kids that are somehow all the same age as me. How this happened, I have no idea. But now every day it's advice no one asked for, quickly followed by, I say this because you're like my son.
Aww.
It's like they see how young you are compared to.
But I be feeling like that's so endearing. I be feeling like that's so endearing though. Like, I don't know. I be like, whenever I was at work, when I was at school, when I was in life, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I've always been lucky enough to have people that I can consider like motherly figures in my life. So for example, at work, I had a work mom. At school, I had a school mom. When I left school and I was in Austin, I had a Austin mom. Even when I went up to Houston, I had a Houston mom. Like, I've just always been lucky enough to find people who will be like motherly figures in my life and very endearing. I don't think somebody saying like, oh, you're like my son, so let me tell you something is a bad thing. I'm not gonna lie. They treated me great, man.
To them, and they just forget they were also once your age as well. Crazy. The next thing I noticed over the course of being at my real job is just how some low-key live for office drama. See, when you're younger and in a warm environment like your retail job or school, niggas gonna talk about anyone and anything, but because of how young and immature you are, shit that don't matter gonna seem like it does. But for some reason, I'm witnessing people in the department next to me chat the most shit I've ever heard in my life.
Bro, everybody at work hates each other. It's actually crazy. Like, if you've never worked in like a setting surrounded by people, the way that they talk, I'm not gonna lie, the way that people talk at their jobs is almost like they're ready to scrap immediately if this information got leaked. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sick of working. I need me a sugar daddy. It be like that, bro. Bro, I remember in the hospital when I was going into smoking breaks with my coworkers, not smoking, but you know, gotta be social facts. And they're talking about husbands, kids, and money struggles while my ad was just trying to buy a new bag. Dang, E. No, it's real though. Like, you get surrounded, and sometimes the age guys be crazy at work, though.
Mind you, they're grown. Because they all work hybrid, so some days some work at home, some days some work in the office. Whoever is in the office that day is having a field day when a certain someone is not working. Like, one time, this lady asked for assistance from the other lady who happened to be working from home that day, and the lady from home said she couldn't help her, and it wasn't even just like, she can't help me. It was, oh my fucking gosh, this dumb bitch Jennifer, like, just fucking help me. And you can imagine the look on my face from the office next door. The one thing I will say, though, and I'm not sexist, but I've only noticed this with the woman next door. As for us men in my department, we don't give a fuck about anything, to be fair. Or even,
that's all I was gonna say. I don't necessarily think this is a sexist thing, but as I've observed, the guys really just be like, also guys, you're like, yo, you kind of butt at your job, could you lock in? Or, yo, that game was crazy last night, bro. LeBron was wilding, bro. He was so OD on the defensive end. Shout out the Timberwolves. They tried their best. Like, it's literally that. That's the only dynamic, bro. It's a couple of jokes. Might be like one customer that walk in like, damn, she kind of got a fat ass. And then after that, it's basketball. And then, oh, you're bad at your job. Like, that's really the guy dynamic. After that, bro, we don't really do much at the job place.
Even this one time I went out for lunch with two of my coworkers, one from my department and a woman from the other one. And as we're eating, the lady casually
Spooky so what's happening?
Yeah, Jess was super annoying today. And then they both just started dissecting all of this woman's flaws and imperfections for the next 15 minutes. And I'm just kind of there. Not only am I new, but I also don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Just locked in on my hot dog. And then I zone back into the conversation and think to myself, damn, they really don't like this bitch at all. You would have thought by the time you become a full-fledged adult, you don't really have the time to be so concerned or gossip about other people. Right. But I guess the game never changes for real. Right. This shit was reminding me of my retail job where it's all buddy-buddy to each other's face, but behind closed doors, niggas hate. Hate ain't even the word. Despise each other. Yeah, and don't even get me started on uniform. Luckily, my job doesn't have a uniform.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was not caring about uniform. And I'm not saying that to be cool. I'm saying that because I felt so nerdy in the uniform. I was like, yeah, I gotta blackify this. So like everything's untucked. I'm wearing Crocs to work instead. Blackify is probably not the best word for this, but I had to Stanleyify it. I turned my hat backwards. But the thing is, I was actually good at my job, so I got to do these things. It's way different when you suck at your job and you're not following rules. I was really good at my job, so they would let things slide because it's like, dang, he's doing that, but at the same time, he's doing a phenomenal job, so we'll let him rock. So do that as you may. If you really care about how you look at your job and you want to change it a little bit, be better at your job, and they may let you get away with a little bit more.
Uniform, it's more just a need to dress business casual, which isn't that bad, and I normally follow. But tell me why the
Jeezy.
one day I wore sweatpants and running shoes
Panera.
as I was traveling on site to set up a server, which was literally the dirtiest place ever. Once I get back to the office, after I just came back from that server room and went to war, like I'm talking straight dust and dirt everywhere. I got webs in my hair and I'm carrying a fucking vacuum to the garage. One of the ladies only then thinks it's a good idea to address my appearance in front of everyone in the office during a conversation. And to make matters worse, she goes a step further and drags the other guys from my department to compare how we're presenting ourselves and the cleanliness. Like, what the then to no one's surprise, she starts talking about her son that's my age and showing us his Instagram and how he looks clean. I'm like, bro,
everybody's supposed to look clean on Instagram. That's Instagram. Oh, nah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I'm at work and you pull up a picture of your son to show me that cleaner than me, bro, I'm cleaning you out, bro. I'm knocking you clean out. Not actually. But, like, come on, bro. That's a little bit crazy, bro. Instagram's literally made for perfection. And I just went inside the butt crack of a freaking Wi-Fi room to make sure that junk was running. Don't compare me to your people, bro. That's crazy, bro.
I just came back from the front lines in the trenches. Legit a whole war zone. And you're comparing the current me.
Well, Stanley, what was the fastest way to get your bread up? Because you was working at Panera Bread. I worked at Panera Bread. I saved everything. I got equipment, so I invested in myself. And then I just went crazy on YouTube, and then YouTube made money. That's what I did. But the answer to your question is invest in yourself. You don't even need money to invest in yourself. You need time to invest in yourself. And money buys time, yes, but you can invest in yourself without money. But if you have money to invest in yourself with, it's good. You ain't gotta do YouTube. You don't gotta do nothing. You can find yourself a little stocks. You can find yourself some tech. You can find yourself some garage selling. You can flip some shoes, drop ship, whatever you want to do. Just invest in yourself and you'll be able to make money. But you got to give up sleep. You got to give it hours. You got to give up family time. You got to give up friends. You got to give up hanging out. You got to give up spending time, wasting time, cooling, chilling, anime, because you got to work dummy hard to see results.
To your son's Instagram pictures. Tombo, let's try to look more polished for next time. What the fuck? The next thing you're going to notice when you get your first job is how quick your coworkers try to get close to you. Quick. Right. Like, you go on lunch together one time, then every day it's, hey, what are we grabbing for lunch today?
Yeah, I'm not trying
and then
to do
all
that.
of a sudden they're trying to add you on Discord.
I'm trying to sleep in the car every day.
You could game later tonight. Niggas will call that shit bonding. I'm just there like, yeah, I don't even run games no more. Or even spontaneous plans like, hey, what are you saying after work today? Like, forget next week. They're talking about today. Like, after your shift, you trying to go shoot some hoops? Like, with all due respect, and mind you, your coworkers will sometimes be some cool-ass people.
Right.
But respectfully, I am not trying to go out, especially after with you. It ain't even nothing personal. It's just like, bro, I was just here for 8 fucking hours with y'all niggas. Like, I wanna go home. Like, I got other shit I gotta attend to. But to be fair, maybe it gets different when you get a bit older. You might not do as much or have as many friends. Granted, I'm still young. But I've learned it's very important to keep your work life as your work life and your personal life as your personal life. But all in all, I say all of that to say this.
I think that just matters more when you're like piping someone for the job. I know that sounds crazy, but it's more so like, because I have people that I met at Panera that are still my good friends till today. I'd say that I wouldn't even make it to where I am if not for them. You get what I'm saying? So I do think you could bring people in your work life to your personal life. I think it just gets tricky when you're actually piping them. That's what I think. That's what I think is the problem.
Getting your first job is one of the most exciting and terrifying things you'll experience in your life.
Streaming?
But it's all good because at the end of the day, you get to say you have a job and make money, I guess. Fuck, this shit's ridiculous, bro. I can't even lie, man.
Hey, man, W video, if you guys are getting a first job, make sure that you get the job that's right for you. You don't have to stay there if you don't want to stay there. And make sure you take the money and invest in yourself so that way you can do what you want to do, not do what somebody else tells you to do. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below. Comment twice. It helps me in the algorithm. Check out me and Yo-Yo's collab channel, SXY. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye. Peace.